Hi everyone. Today, before we get to the main work of the day, I am going to do something that I've been wanting to do since I first looked at the boat before I even made an offer. Now that that's all done, we can start the real work of the day. I'm going to go up to the gate and meet Meredith so she can come and help me figure out why my engine mount bolt came loose during the trip up north from Olympia to Seattle. And we're also going to look at my propeller shaft and try to figure out why it came loose from the coupling and slid back to obstruct the rudder while I was docking.
Reinstalling a leg screw that went from the mount support into the stringer itself. Apparently it came undone somehow.
Yeah.
So, and of course it couldn't be like the first one. It had to be the farthest aft one.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Harriet is outside. She's starting to, you can see her there. She's starting to scrape the other side of the cap rail.
At least you have the angle iron. That really does a good job for support.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Because these forward ones, at least this one, has 2 through bolts. There's a nut on the back side.
Oh, really?
The best.
Oh, you can see it? Oh, you can feel
Yeah,
it?
there's a nut on the back side of the forward angle iron.
Oh, did
But
you see on the other one?
The other one, there's 3 on the forward one.
Yeah.
And I feel 2 nuts for these 2 rear ones. This one I assume is just a leg bolt, but
What about the back? There's nothing, right?
no, because it's too like
narrow?
the angle of the hull comes up. So
Oh, okay.
those are just regular leg bolts that
Yeah.
would go in. So
Good to know. Okay.
So like when the engine's running, I could actually see the bolts like shaking right back out.
And it's just the back ones.
Both
the front
of them.
one. Wait, but the front ones have nuts on them.
No, the front one, yeah, just the back ones. Sorry, the 2 back
right,
ones.
the 2 back ones,
on the
yeah.
starboard side. That's where you're getting that really loud metallic like ping.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys heard the pitch change, but when I put a wrench on it and like tried to tighten it back in, it would get like, as long as I had my finger on it,
Yeah.
holding, it toned down.
Yeah.
And then I let go and it got really like pingy again.
It's exactly what we thought then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the noise.
Okay.
And you're also dripping water out of, you got a little bit of water coming out of the Sherwood pump, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yep, it's coming out of the bottom of the Sherwood pump, so that needs new seals.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so this is the shaft. It looks like it's a 1-inch shaft. Let's see. 1 inch. And as you get towards the engine, this is the engine coupling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that connects to your transmission or whatever. This is a really bad picture.
That's okay. I understand what you're saying.
So the prop shaft inside the coupling, it actually tapers. It gets smaller.
Yeah.
And there's this groove that's cut in it that's like right here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this little like metal woodruff key that like sits down in this space, which actually when it's installed it looks like this. And then so it actually sticks out from the taper.
Yeah.
And then then the coupling, slides over the shaft, and the hole is cut to like 1 inch to fit this, but since that's tapered, the woodruff key actually makes it like a very tight fit. And so when you install this, you actually should see the shaft like right in line with the flange. And it looks like right now you don't have a woodruff key in place, and obviously the little set screw is like backed way out. Mm-hmm. So now,
the set screw is still there.
Yeah, the set screw is still there. It's that little tiny like threaded screw that you can actually see sticking out of the side of the body.
Can you saw the hole?
I could see the woodruff hole.
Okay.
And I could feel a solid 1/2 inch of that hole. Mm-hmm. And that key actually matches the length of the hole almost perfectly usually.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't feel like there's a woodruff key in there at all. Mm-hmm. And if there's no woodruff key, no matter your flange is going to be, your coupling isn't going to hold on to the shaft very well. So what I would do further is I'd unbolt it. You know how to do that. And you might have to shift the zinc that's installed here.
Do we have to keep that?
You don't have to keep it,
because
but
it seems so makeshift. It seems like they put it in there because they didn't do all this other stuff.
Yeah, they must have known that this was a problem because nobody installs the zinc on the inside.
Nobody does that. That's like
of the boat.
Not a professional.
Yeah, and it kind of surprises me that your mechanical survey didn't say anything about this.
Well, I mean, I was just following the chain of recommendations. What I should have done was hired you. I'm not going to name any names, but I should have hired Meredith Anderson as my diesel mechanic.
Duh. But what I would do is you have a standard packing gland, which is preferable. I really like the standard ones because when they fail, they're not critical. So I would shift up the zinc just for now until this is fixed and that it's not going to come apart. I would leave this on as our makeshift because it kind of saved the day.
Right.
I would shift this up a little bit, and you should be able to grab the shaft or the coupling and kind of move it backwards, like that from doing your other boat.
Yeah.
And then you might have to tap on this with a rubber mallet. Obviously it's loose enough that you shouldn't have to press it off. So get this off.
Wait, tap on what part with a rubber mallet?
Tap on this part, like the part of the coupling, the fat round part, this part.
Okay.
Once you separate the bolts, once you pull those off, then you're gonna move the whole shaft and the old flange back so you can get this off the end of the shaft. And you're just gonna see if you can tap on it to get it to just come off. Most of the time, like, these get so rusted on there and nasty, and you either have to use a ton of heat or just cut the shaft and have it all redone, which is really frustrating.
But mine isn't rusty at all.
Yours isn't that rusty. I don't know whether it's new, but usually they get relatively rusty.
Yeah,
over
my
time.
transmission was installed new in 2018.
Okay, so so it might be a new coupling then.
Yeah.
So, but either way, separate this from the coupling. Try to get some measurements on this hole. And then take that to the prop shop because they'll be able to get you, a proper stainless. This is a stainless shaft that you have. They'll get you a proper stainless woodruff key to match that. Another thing you could do is like take a piece of paper, and do this and like scribble on it, and that will give you the exact outline of the hole. So, because I really wonder if there's no woodruff key in there. It kind of feels like there isn't.
Yeah.
There could be. It could be just like slid all the way up and I'm not feeling it, but it's definitely worth checking because if that's missing, then yeah, for sure. Like your shaft would let go pretty easily. So I would do that. At this point, you really need to remove the coupling and see what's going on. And I know for a fact you know how to put it back together. So that's where I'd start.
Cool.
So. All right.
Wow, it's really good to know. It's really good to have a clear idea of what's going on. You know, it is fixable. Nothing's terribly wrong. I just need to follow some steps, and I can do it, and have a framework to know what to do. So, and that's why Meredith is so great. She just lays it out for you. So if you live in the Seattle area and you need a diesel mechanic, let me know and I will hook you up with Meredith. She's been working on engines since she was 4 years old.
Yep.
Harriet we only have one scraper for the cap rail, so Harriet is going to keep scraping the cap rail while I do the engine stuff. Well, I mean, good job tightening these bolts, but previous owner.
Yeah. Do you have any WD-40 or like I don't know, something to like hit the handle of the wrench with?
I have a torque wrench under the V-berth.
Okay.
Will you get it for me?
Yeah, if you tell me what a torque wrench is.
It's a long black box.
Okay. Here you go.
So I need a little bit more leverage. See if this works. I got one. I
Excellent.
got it loose. Now it's coming out. And
Good
I just
job.
gotta get the other three. Now I can just do that with my hand. Or no. I've loosened all the bolts and trying to get it loose, but I think the prop is obstructing the rudder and that's why I can't get it any further back, so I'm gonna have to try and work the tiller. I see some bar stog in there. I think that's actually the Woodruff key. Let's see, it's right there. You see that? I think the Woodruff key was too far forward. I think the shaft had gone back, and so the Woodruff key was not back in its slot. Okay, let's see what that did. Alright. Oh yeah, look at that. Can go way back now. Hey, hey! So as long as the coupling's on, that's as far back as I can go, because it's gonna hit this, the fill, the red brass fill, Y fitting for the diesel tank, which is embedded into the keel. So if I want to go back farther, I want to take this off because Meredith told me to check the hole to make sure it was exactly the same diameter as the shaft. Because if those were mismatched, we need to know about that so that so that's not causing any problems of it getting loose. So in order for me to remove this, I need to move this back without moving this back. Okay, that's loose enough, so yay! Okay. Now I can push that farther back. Far enough that I can just pop this coupling off. Ta-da! Now, I don't know if I have a caliper. Oh, is that damaged or is it just... It's just grease. Nothing damaged about that. It's a beautiful, clean cut. I was wondering if it was damaged because the Woodruff key, where did I put that? Woodruff key. The Woodruff key has this, I'm going to talk to Meredith about this. Meredith, so this has it's like that. So something, I don't think it's supposed to be like that at the end. I think something was grinding on it. So, but good thing that nothing appears to be damaged, at least on the shaft coupling. I could swear I had a little plastic caliper in here somewhere. A ruler just is not precise enough, but it might have to do. I'm gonna get a new key because of that little dent, but I just want to see how it's gonna fit. It's not even going in because of that dent. But if I put it just to see. Okay, so it would go like that. Okay, it would go like that. Another thing is that these, let's see. These, like this, and that there, these are the indentations for the set screws that are supposed to go there and there. And I need to, when I'm putting it back in, to make sure it's lining up. And I think once I've got that Woodruff key in there, I'm getting all my leverage from like twisting it on and slipping it on that way. But as soon as I'm putting in there with the actual Woodruff key, I think I'm gonna have to do some hammering to get it back there because I'm not gonna be able to twist it anymore. Hey Harriet.
Hey,
How's it going?
it's going well.
Yeah.
I've done all the way from the transom that I did last time.
Nice. Beautiful.
All the way to here. I've sanded about half of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of falling into the water sometimes.
Yeah,
At
we
least
need
I feel
to.
like I'm going to.
I don't have a dinghy yet, but we need to borrow a dinghy from someone. I do have my little racing dinghy I want to bring down here, so I can. My plan is to sail it while I work on the big boat and get ready to live aboard, install the heater and stuff. So that racing dinghy I'm storing outside in the courtyard at Fisheries Supply, so they let me do that. So I'm going to put it on my roof rack one day soon and bring it down. This is a 36-foot slip, and I have a 31-foot boat, so I think it'll fit pretty nicely just right in front of the boat. And then I can go sailing. I found this set screw in the bilge. So when I took off the coupling, there was one set screw still in the coupling, and this set screw was in the bilge. It's rusty, so I'm going to get another one. But that might have something to do with the fact that it slid back. So in the hole in the coupling, there's this set screw. So the hole is like twice as long as the set screw, and then underneath this set screw there's another set screw. And I don't know if this is true, but it would make sense if all of these problems with things getting loose were being caused by the fact that the engine mount bolts were loose on the rear mounts, and that what really needs to be figured out is what is the structure underneath the engine bed where those bolts are mounted. And luckily there's a little access hole that I might be able to feel around and feel what's going on in there.
Just to give you an idea of what the issue is. So on the front mounts, these bolts fit all the way through from down here, and they don't fit through on the rear mounts because this is the side of the hull, and that's why the lag screws were used for those. But the lag screws work their way out more than a bolt would. So I think the purpose of the bolts down here is to keep the angle iron on, because usually the 2 bolts on the engine mounts are enough to keep the engine in place. So I think the reason why the engine was so loud when I was on my way up to Seattle is because these were loose on the back, and the angle iron was the thing that was making the noise, and Meredith confirmed that when we just had the engine on too. So another strange thing is that this bolt lines up like right next to this one, and I'm feeling underneath. I can't feel the underside of this, so I'm wondering if feels like there's nothing there. Let's see if I can get in at a better angle. Maybe I'm just not going in far enough.
I think what I really need is a camera snake to get in that hole and see what's going on with the vertical bolts, because it kind of feels to me like I can't feel them at all. And so then I'm like, so what's going on? Are they welded into the angle iron and they're not going through the fiberglass? I don't know.
Oh, I see I feel where the screw is coming through there. I feel the end of the screw on the side down here. Not this one. I feel the end of this one when I go put my finger through there.
I think it should be totally possible to drill a hole so that this right here is not a lag screw, which it is right now. It is stainless steel lag screw, and that it should be possible to make it into a bolt by putting it through, and then me taking a nut with some kind of adapter that I can use to reach in there at the exact right angle, and then tighten it. I should be able to do that with some combination of angles. I couldn't put a straight wrench through because I'd have to angle too far down like that, I think, so it wouldn't go up to the screw. But I remember from when I was working on my engine in my previous boat, I went to Tacoma Screw a lot because I had to replace every bolt in that engine, and then I had to do it again because I used zinc screws. Anyway, but when I was there, I noticed all these weird, cool, curvy-shaped wrenches that are probably for situations just like this one. So maybe if I run it by Meredith and she likes my idea, I think it's a pretty good idea, then maybe I can get one of those little curvy wrenches that can dip down into the hole and reach right up to where I need to hold a nut to so that I can tighten a bolt through that hole. Now, my last step for today before we leave is to tighten that zinc on the inside of the shaft again, because if that propeller shaft falls out through the back of the boat when I'm gone, that could sink the boat if my bilge pump malfunctions. So always better to sleep at night with that little bit of extra security. There. That's not going anywhere. That'll be it for this week. Stay tuned for next week while I pick up with my long sailor's tale that I had told quite a bit of last week about what happened when I came back from Vancouver Island. So stay tuned and have a great week.